All righty, sir. We are live.
Yes.
Welcome one, welcome all. One game officially in the books. Perhaps it should come as no great surprise that the Alabama Crimson Tide won by 3 touchdowns, 27-6 over the Cincinnati Bearcats in playoff semifinal numero uno. We still got one to go. I've got the Michigan apparel here.
I got to put mine on. Yeah. I'm still wearing a coffee shirt. Yeah.
We don't have to talk too much about the Alabama game because the purpose of the hype stream is to get people hyped for the Georgia and Michigan game, which, let's be honest, a lot of us were more excited about. Anyway, so
yeah.
Before we move on to that, though, we should at least call out what happened in the Bama game very quickly. Again, your final 27-6 in favor of Alabama. Alabama ran the ball. Brian Robinson ran for 204, which was a record.
Unreal.
They very clearly felt that they had an advantage in the trenches, and they were pressing their advantage the entire game. They did not need to rely on Bryce Young to the same extent that they did against Georgia in the SEC championship game, because they were just so damn effective at running the ball. And Cincinnati, on the whole, like 2 of 12 on third downs, they couldn't really sustain momentum throughout the course of the game, here and there in spots, but by and large, it was the Alabama defense ruling supreme here.
Yeah, it was, in terms of a TV game, it wasn't. It was I think sort of a crock-potting, as we've talked about before, where it's just this slow simmer of a win where Cincinnati never really looked like it could do much against the simmering juices of Alabama's defense, and certainly couldn't get much going in terms of getting a push against the Alabama rushing attack. And so even just the swatted balls, I think it was Mathis at the end that was able to, at the end position, that was able to get his large hand up in passing lanes over and over again. And so any sort of opportunities, any of those high leverage moments that Cincinnati was able to generate with some bigger plays or some more methodical drives, Alabama was able to sort of squash things right at the line before the Bearcats could punctuate anything. So, no, the story of this game is running in defense, which is the story of old Alabama, weirdly enough. And I know Jamison Williams gets hurt. He's in the injury tent. I don't know the severity of his injury, but it was said that he was not going to return. But ultimately, it didn't matter. And we talked about that being part of the blueprint, and the foundation for a potential Cincinnati win was limit Jamison Williams, limit Bryce Young, and, keep the score low. I think the under hit, like I got lucky in calling, I guess. But I'm just disappointed with Cincinnati's inability. And, I both like and not like being right about things. And it was the lack of playmaking, lack of speed, lack of.
Okay, Dan. Yep. I think we're losing your audio there for a second. Okay.
Yeah. I'm here.
You're back.
Are you hearing
me?
You're back. I'm back.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it came down to. And I don't think it's a referendum on Cincinnati being in the playoff or Cincinnati having the season that they did. Very few teams have the types of playmakers who could score 30 points against Alabama on this type of stage. And that was our concern coming in. It came to fruition. And at least really cool to watch Cincinnati's defense, for the most part, look pretty impressive, all things considered, with where their offense was.
Well, Alabama moves on to the national championship game again. They were favored, as you know, by 2 touchdowns. I was able to execute my plan and grab Alabama after a quick score, but even that wasn't enough, as Alabama wins by 3 touchdowns, again, a 21-point margin here. They will move on to the national championship to face the winner of this next game. If they square off against Georgia, I believe it's going to be about a pick'em point spread. Georgia may be favored by 1 or Bama favored by 1, but for all intents and purposes, that's a pick'em. If it is against Michigan, Bama will be favored by about a touchdown.
Yeah.
So just for context, that's what we're looking at here as we move forward into this game, which is also about a 7-point spread. Georgia favored over the Michigan Wolverines. Again, depends when you look, where you look, but about 7.5 points. They are favored. This is a much different game. This is a different game in the sense that both teams want to play a similar style. Both teams have bruising defenses. Georgia's, of course, like the 4th most efficient of all time. It's very, very good. Michigan should not be underrated. It's very good in its own right. It just hasn't maybe achieve the same heights as Georgia. In either case, both offenses are going to be in, excuse me, an interesting spot, being so that there goes Dan, that they need to try and impose their will against the other defense. I think both offenses want to run the football effectively. Michigan, I fear, is in a spot where if that is shut down and if K. McNamara is forced to throw the football like 40, 45 times, I just don't think that works to the blueprint. And that's not how Michigan likes to win their football games. On the Georgia side of the equation, it gets really interesting because, for as much as we've talked about the Bulldogs so far this season, and for as much as they have been damn impressive the whole year through, straight up until the SEC championship game, almost a national championship, we have not necessarily seen them in a position a whole lot this season where the offense is really put to the test and the offense really struggles and they maybe have to go outside of their normal game plan in order to win. So because of those reasons, I fear that this could end up being like a 17-14 style football game, a bit of a rock fight down the stretch, a real defensive slugfest where the ground game maybe doesn't work for either side. And it's going to take a play on special teams, a play on defense, a big throw from a quarterback, something like that in order to make this thing work. So we'll see what transpires. Dan will be rejoining us here momentarily. In the interim, please do post on the comment thread here what your predictions are for this game, which is going to start just momentarily. I'm excited to see where it goes, frankly, but this one to me, especially after the first game that we just saw, I feel probably a little less confident than I did the first time around. So let's bring Dan back. You there, Dan? Can you hear us? All right.
People with no respect for the integrity of this stream. So here we are.
Here we are. I was just talking through, again, my logic for why I think this game could end up as a rock fight with both defenses containing the opposing offenses. And we end up at 17-14, something of that ilk.
I got a call from my wife, and the first thing I heard was, Dax Hill! Is he playing? Is he all suited up? And I don't know. I don't have the TV in front of me.
He came out of the tunnel. So,
okay. All right.
Reportedly, we'll be playing. You picked Michigan outright here. I picked Georgia outright. Explain to the folks why Michigan.
Hype. Speaking with my chest. I don't fully know why. I mean, it's part universe. Can't ever let Georgia have nice things, and part Michigan feels like they are the team. And maybe this is one of those things. I know it's true in other sports where it's just like you come in hot. The Colorado Rockies come into the playoffs hot, and you just can't touch them. And the way Michigan's playing right now, and the way that they're finding playmakers and building this offense, there's a little bit of like a chicken wire duct tape to it. Like 1 week it's Andrell Anthony, the next week it's Donovan Edwards, back to Son Haskins and Blake Corum. The thing that worries me about Michigan is the thing that worried me about Cincinnati is like, okay, who is putting the fear of God into the Georgia secondary on this Michigan team? Of course, if it's Roman Wilson, it's Roman Wilson. Maybe it's not Ronnie Bell, obviously. And that's the troubling thing to me, that in these types of spots, you need to win in multiple ways. And I hesitate with that with Michigan. But with the pass rush, with the offensive line, with hopefully a mistake-free Cade McNamara, I mean, you're checking a couple of boxes here and how you can build a Michigan win. I am just going to say that the universe does not let Georgia have nice things, and that would include a loss to Michigan to today.
Man,
and Georgia's the clear better team. But I don't think we're going to have two blowouts. So I'm just going to go with the math here, and I'm going to say we're going to get something interesting. The universe is going to prevent an Alabama-Georgia nonsense rematch, and we'll get Michigan-Alabama, a rematch of that. Was it a Citrus Bowl? What was it a couple of years ago? A Citrus Bowl rematch. Right. And I don't know. I don't have a better answer beyond that. I just think Stetson Bennett can be mistake-prone, and this Michigan defense at its best is very, very strong. And they beat Ohio State. They beat America's team, the Iowa Hawkeyes. I get it. I'm rolling with hype, and I'm rolling with energy, and I'm rolling with the moment. So I'm going with the Wolverines and my marriage.
Yeah, well, you will be putting on your Michigan apparel. I bought this shirt when I was at a Michigan-Penn State game back in the day.
Yeah.
And I just held on to it for moments like this. knowing that one day I might be on the stream talking about a playoff semifinal. Again, please do put your predictions in the comment thread here.
Give us scores.
Yeah, give us scores. Let us know what you think. I'm trying to flash some of the comments up that folks have been posting. Here's my thought. My thought is I will stand by what I said many moons ago.
Chest.
Talking from the chest. Though I am not as confident in it, I am still going to go Georgia minus the number because of their defense, I think, being able to stop the thing that I know Michigan wants to do. Okay. So that's why I go that direction. The over-under, I'm never good at over-unders. The over-under is about 45.5. I don't know if there are going to be that many points in this game. This feels like a low-scoring defensive slugfest to me.
Can you underthink it? Because we trade off becoming the engineer or whatever of the Underthink Express. If you were to underthink this result and be as casual as you possibly could be, what is the tenor of this game? Because the Underthink Express kind of worked for Alabama Cincinnati.
If I were to be the conductor of the Underthink Express, I would say Georgia by about 10 to 14 points.
Okay. So they'll cover the whatever touchdown and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. What and what'd you say the number was? Something like 45?
45.5, yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, if I were to remove the universe from my prediction and remove momentum, which doesn't exist, or remove energy and electricity from where Michigan has been, and Georgia obviously was halted in the SEC championship game, if I were to go with the totality of both of these teams' work, I would say Georgia 27-21, not covering, but winning.
Okay.
But I factor in a holistic approach, and I'm going Michigan outright. So, yeah, the underthink is Georgia by 6. So even underthinking and overthinking, I have the Wolverines covering.
Flashing up comments right now, people making their predictions. We've got some on either side of the fence here. Destin with the most important comment that David Pollock is, of course, talking about the trenches, which is the thing David Pollock likes to do. A lot of folks thinking a close game, right? Gabe here saying 24-17 Michigan. 16-15. I would love a 16-15 game. I love weird scores. That would be fun.
16-15. Ooh, yeah.
Well, we get John U. Bacon on, maybe. You never know.
Banned.
Sam 20-17. Joshua 23-21. So folks feeling very close. Here, we got another one, 24-20. Jason speaking with his chest, though, 38-21. That'd be a lot of points that hit the over. I could see it. I could see all of these predictions coming to fruition. I am most curious to see.
It took the clear best or pretty clear best quarterback in the country to derail this Georgia defense. Cade McNamara is not in that conversation.
No.
So I get it.
I get it. I am very curious to see, because we've talked so much about the Georgia defense and so much about the Michigan offense. The one thing that I still feel like has been undercovered here is what happens if the Michigan defense just totally shuts down the Georgia offense? What happens if Stetson Bennett is actually the one who has to throw the ball 40 times? Because we've seen him in that scenario before, and he isn't always the most successful, especially against Alabama, right? We've got something of a body of work now to look at between what happened in 2020 with him and now what happened in the SEC title game. Not to say Michigan is Alabama, but you get the point. If he has to throw it a bunch of times, if they have to lean on him, what type of complexion does this game take on? That to me is kind of an outstanding question at the moment.
Yeah, no, there are times. I mean, I'm wondering what Georgia's receiving core looks like. George Pickens came in, caught 2 balls, one of which was for a big play against Alabama. But this Georgia team has been ruthlessly efficient on offense, but not necessarily explosive. Brock Bowers has been a revelation. You know, the freshman tight end has come in and been Stetson Bennett's go-to target. But yeah, we don't spend a lot of time talking about the Georgia offense, and they've sort of taken care of business, to say the least. They haven't been flashy. They haven't been electric. They don't have the first-round receivers like so many of these championship-type SEC teams have had these last few years. But I don't remember. I was on some show. I read something. I don't know. Like, Georgia's kind of just like a big glorified Big Ten team with the way that they play this year. And so that's interesting to me, that Michigan is almost getting a Georgia team who's going to be playing their game, something that they're kind of used to. Now, Michigan can beat an Ohio State team that plays very differently and does have that firepower on offense. So, no, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about it. Like, Stetson Bennett, not against Alabama, and I suppose not against last year's Florida team, has been a quarterback good enough to win a national championship.
Right.
Not amazing, but in the mold of like a game manager plus. And so that to me is like, he's good enough to beat Michigan. He's good enough to make plays against Michigan. I mean, how many points do you think Michigan needs to score to beat Georgia? Like, what is that magic number?
If the defense holds, probably 21.
Really?
24. If the defense holds.
I think they need to score 28 points.
Okay.
It's hard for me to see a Michigan win with the Wolverines scoring fewer than. I mean, I can see it, but like, again, if the game is simulated 100 times, I would like Michigan to get into that upper 20s to really feel comfortable about a Wolverine win. And for Georgia, I think it's right around the same.
Yeah.
I really do.
I think I agree. I could definitely see this one either being really close or a blowout. Like, I can kind of envision all the different permutations of this game, depending on, again, how the defenses step up and contain the opposing offense. My expectation, again, is that it's going to be a lot of punts. It's going to be a lot of field position. It's going to be a couple big plays here and there. I think Georgia's the better team, personally. I think they've been all year. But Michigan should not be overlooked. Michigan's had a good season, and Michigan is very solid. So we'll see what comes of that. We've got a bunch of comments here that
there's a world, by the way. Yeah, we can get into the comments. There's a world in which Georgia wins this game 31-13. So you're like, all right, Cade McNamara. All right. Okay. Where it's just, he sees nothing but 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 13s, and he's a good 3rd and 4 quarterback. He's a good 2nd and 2 quarterback, but on his back against this Georgia defense, 31-13. That world exists.
Oh, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. And, you know, Cade McNamara has been very thrifty with the football so far this year. He hasn't made too much in the way of back-breaking mistakes. There have been moments, but by and large, he's been really good with the football. He's been really responsible. I hesitate to call anyone a game manager, but in some sense of the word, that's how they've used him most of the season, and it's been very effective. He's been very responsible with the football. They're going to need that from him tonight against a really good defense.
I mean, the one time we did see, like, balls in Cade McNamara's hands against a really strong team. Let's see what we have. Back-breaking, game-ending interception against Michigan State.
Yeah.
So there was that. Okay. What are we talking comments? Hit me.
Well, we've been posting a bunch of them here throughout the course of the stream. Tim saying McCarthy's the best quarterback in the game if he gets in. McCarthy's had some moments this year. I don't know if
highest ceiling quarterback, ready for this stage and moment quarterback. Not sure if I'm there.
Special teams advantage for Michigan could be huge. I would agree with that.
Yep.
Ben also says predicting needing to turn away from the TV, not watching at some point, regardless of the score.
Yep.
Hashtag go blue. Okay. What else do we got here? I don't know if I flashed up 13-12 while we're at it.
I like that.
Some of these close comments. Yeah, I'm down. Absolutely down with that.
That just means we get close and excitement and end of game weirdness. I'm good with that because we didn't have that game 1.
It just means more. Oh, where is it? There it is. Nope, wrong one. Jonathan, thank you. It just means more. It does just mean more, Jonathan. Thank you. Cole saying we'll make friends along the way. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Always.
J Rockstar. Pick 6 for Georgia tonight. We get a weird scoregami. I love
we do,
the
baby.
term scoregami. Scoregami is when you get a new score that's never happened before.
Yep.
I think it's possible. I think it's on the table. I'm always a proponent of 19 points. You know where I stand. Oh, okay. Close up. You know where I stand on the 19-point thing. I'd love there to be a 19
magic number.
19-point final, like a 19-18 kind of game would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like the kind of game that could end up like 11-10 or something like we've seen in some oddball NFL games along the way.
Definitely.
So, all right, where are we at? We're probably getting pretty close to kickoff at this point.
I believe we are, yeah.
All right, so why don't we call it an evening? Don't forget, we will be posting our recap show for this and for all the New Year's 6 games on our Patreon early on Sunday afternoon. We're also going to be posting it for the general public bright and early on Monday morning at 6 a.m. So stay tuned for that. We're looking forward to it. In the meantime, Dan and I will be popping into our Discord voice chat at some point during the Michigan game here, Michigan-Georgia game. You can access that via verballers.com. That's our Patreon. It has been electric this evening. It's been like trying to read the Matrix, as people write with feverish intent here as we go through at least the first of 2 college football semifinals. So encourage you to check that out. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit the bell so that you're notified every time we post a new college football video. Daniel, enjoy the game. Please do get your Michigan apparel on before kickoff. It's bad luck not to.
Will do. Done.
All right, folks. We'll talk to you all soon. Stay solid.